All right, we're going to see if we have sound and if people show up. This is my second attempt. I'm truly hoping there's sound. If not, I will have to come back to you next week with a new computer. Can you hear me? Okay, I am getting a new computer. I'm going to start writing. I've got this book swirling around in my head. So I've got some ideas and outlined. I even have a working title, which I will not share with you now. I guess I have to have it plugged in before I start the session. I'm sorry, guys. All right, EQ Thunderbird. Oh, I'll totally take a confirmation. I wanted to confirm something you told me months ago. You were 100% correct regarding your career coming your way. Yay! Yay for you. Really, I'm way more excited. I'm excited for the confirmation, but I'm way more excited for you for your career because that is awesome. Congratulations. And I hope you're truly happy with it. Okay, Sorrel. Jeanette, I think we were with you. Should you call him? I think you asked. Was that correct? I put too many N's in your name, not enough T's. Jeanette Ingram. I'll just put Jeanette I. Should you contact the Sorrel? Yes, absolutely. Like astounding. Yes, they're like, yes. You're not too late, Ellen. We had to restart a little bit because I had a ding dong moment and forgot to plug in my mic, and then it just didn't work. But I'm going to leave the other one up because I did answer a few questions on it. Rosewater, you started seeing a guy named Trevor, and I'm sorry to all of you that were in the other line, but just trust that everything happens a certain way on purpose, and we are going to trust the universe that happened for a reason. Again, sorry, I'm going to say this again for this video. I am not a lawyer, a doctor, a therapist, or a financial advisor. If you need one, please seek one. Also, any and all of your decisions that you make in your life are yours and yours alone. Empower yourself. Take responsibility for them. Nobody owns them but you. All right? Hokey doke. Okay, Rosewater. You're seeing a guy named Trevor. Should you continue to go out with him, or should you let go of this connection? I heard let go of the connection. I feel like he's not really right for you. It's sort of like that. Like, that feeling where you're like, well, but maybe it feels like that he's not right. Does that make sense? I did a private reading earlier this week, and I got such a cool validation. It was a nephew that had passed away, and randomly at the end of it, the reading I was like, I don't know, they're showing me a turtle, and she sent me back and said her sister, who is the mother of her nephew, said that was his nickname, and I was like, oh, that's so awesome to me. Like that little random, she had no clue that was the nickname. Was so awesome. So I've had some really, really cool private readings this week. And I also got a really cool validation. And this was about something from years ago. And this was a good friend of mine and who I grew up with, but we don't keep in contact as much as we used to. And years ago, I had said, you have a grandfather that smoked, and she grew up in a Southern Baptist family. And she's like, no way, not my family. And there was a grandfather that smoked. So I thought that was really cool. Nope, just Naira, you just put your question in, and I follow the list as I follow the questions as I go down. Boo, boo, boo. Okay. Elizabeth Lynn, we have more kids, not sure if it'll be hard or complications. So let's see. I feel like you will have one more. So what's interesting is I don't see IVF but I see acupuncture, maybe doing acupuncture to help you sort of either relax or change the chi. I've known several people that this has worked for. So it feels like something like going that route first before going IVF route. And that actually works. So that's what I get for you, Elizabeth Lynn. Ken, any messages for you? Ken, do you like to drink? Because I heard lay off the sauce, but this feels more like from not from like a guide, but like, although I think you are kind of funny. So I think that you might say like things in a joking way, but it doesn't feel like because you're an alcoholic or anything like that. It feels like actually for you to go through a period of a break period where you're really cleaning up and clearing out your body of anything that doesn't really suit you. Does this make sense, Ken? It's so funny. I see the same people that worry that they get skipped. You guys know. Oh, I know what I did. You'll donate $100 if I sing Let It Go? Oh, you really don't want me to sing. Should I do it like I do with my kids? Let it go. I like jokingly do like operatic type voice. Libra girl, I don't see yours, love. So I didn't skip you. I think oh, there you are. Any big matter in my week, please? Well, are you talking about matter, like physical matter? Just kidding. No. Feels pretty like low key. You're good, Libra girl. Ken, did that make sense what I said? You're working on eating right now. Do you also like, oh, maybe the sauce was like literally like sauces and things, like don't add extras. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know why the sauce would be like, do you like condiments and like dips and right, less seasoning? That's all. Like, so I don't feel like anything major, just working on cleaning out your body. Like, again, I didn't feel like alcoholic or craziness or anything like that. Just, I heard it in a funny way. So it might be because of your sense of humor. Sometimes they come through that way. That's how they are. So your guides are similar to you in many ways. So I know a lot about your personality based on the way your guides come through. So if your guides are super sarcastic or some of them have foul mouths, I would know that you would be the same way. You're welcome. Good. Oh, okay. I unplugged this mouse. Let me see if I can plug it back in and use it. Because I like it better than that little keyboard. Oh, Urban Lady, thank you. She says, don't forget to like and subscribe. Listen, if I give you a reading, these are free. It doesn't take anything just to hit a like button. Some of this stuff won't make sense when you're on here. Sometimes you'll get your nose out of joint and say, I don't like what she said, but then it'll make sense later. I do try to do, give all of your messages with kindness and love and with gentility. And, I'm not going to just blow smoke up your ass though here. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not going to tell you someone's going to be with you if they're not. That's not how I roll. I truly believe in the energy that I put out comes back to me. So I think being deceptive just to make you happy does nobody good, especially me. Okay. Okay, hang on. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Okay, Ola K. Do I see you moving, renting somewhere else? Yes. It actually feels sooner than you think. So I hear 2 weeks. So I don't know if you start looking, but it feels like in 2 months' time. It actually feels like it's coming very soon. And it actually feels like a better setup for you. So it's not necessarily that it's cheaper. It's probably around the same amount that you're paying. It just feels like a nicer energy about the place and a nicer energy about the landlord or whoever is managing the property. But it doesn't feel like a big property. It feels like smaller. So that's what I get. Blue Storm. I did have a good week and a good weekend. Oh, speaking of which, I went and saw Frozen 2 with my kids yesterday and my husband, and it's actually pretty good. Any messages for you, Blue Storm, coming week? Your car is a concern. Okay. You know, it's funny. So I asked it this way, and I heard your car will last through Mercury retrograde. So I'm trying to ask, like, what's wrong with your car? Is your engine light on? Because I heard her engine light is on, but I saw then something like spurting. So I don't know if it might be something just as simple as needing like a fuel filter or some kind of filter that's within the engine. Because it doesn't feel like whatever it is that's wrong, it feels like it's way less than you're anticipating or way not nearly as bad as you think it is. I don't know if that makes any sense. Well, Ola K, next year is you said move by next year. 2 months is really not. It's like the middle of January. So that's why I say 2 weeks you start looking. 2 months would be. Blue Storm, does that make sense? With the engine light on, but I don't know. But it doesn't feel like it's as bad as you think. Forgot to timestamp my brain so I could remember where I was at. Okay, Shannon Lane, a general reading or someone trying to message you. There's like chatter. Your guides are funny. That's why I'm making these faces. So it's like she's always trying to ask. Like they're kind of like funny. And then one of them is like, she doesn't listen anyway. There's just the one grumpy one. There's kind of like a sourpuss. Is there part of you that gets to be a little bit of a sourpuss at times? Because it's like it's a little grumpiness, like a little bit cynical. So the grumpy guy is saying like she needs to open up more. She needs to listen more. She needs to be more open to this because you are able to be intuitive. So it's sort of like let go of that, release that negativity and or talking yourself out of it. But then I also got a wince of a headache and a little bit of tooth pain. So just watch your teeth on your upper right side. If it starts to hurt or bother you, please go get it checked out. Don't wait on it. I don't know if it'll be like a crown that'll need to be replaced, or if there's like, because it feels more like work's already been done on the tooth. But don't wait so that it doesn't get worse than it needs to be. And it feels like not the one all the way back. They're being very specific. Like, I don't have wisdom teeth. So it would be like if you have wisdom teeth, it'll be the first, second, third one. If you don't have wisdom teeth, it will be your second molar on your upper right is sort of where I'm feeling it. Jennifer, you weren't skipped. You're actually after Shannon Lane. So don't try out here. Okay. So let's talk about, this is not your psychic answer. This is your how to work the law of attraction. And because everything you put out there comes back to you. So if you put out that information out to the universe, online dating is dismal. Online dating will be dismal. That is what you're putting out there. That's what you want to receive. That's what you're saying it is. You're putting that out there. That's what it's going to be. When I was doing online dating, it's actually how I met my husband. I just said, if you want me to meet him here, bring him to me. I didn't worry about, I did have terrible dates on online dating. I had some really awful dates on online dating, but I put it out there in that sense because it left me open to it instead of focusing on the negative. It was like, if you want this to happen here, put him my way here. So that's my suggestion to you. I think it's a great way to meet people, but not with that attitude. That's only going to bring you crappy experiences. And that is my answer for you. Sorry, I forgot an L. Julie Owens, can I tell you about your husband's health? His name is Will. So I have headaches. I have like this stomach thing, but I also have a little bit of a discomfort here. This is my right side, not my left side. So it's not on my heart side. It's on my right side. I also feel like I have anxiety, or I'm a little bit of a panicker and a worrier. Does that make sense? And I heard lots of stress. So can you tell me about that so I can continue then to link into it, please? Phantom Punk, when you just said, what about people if someone thinks a person is a certain way, will that be that way? I think when you think somebody is a certain way, it's not so much that they are that way. It's just that somehow energetically you evoke that from them, right? So it's also thinking and feeling intuitively are different things. So I may intuitively feel someone is a certain way, and it comes from a very different place than a judgment place. I don't know how to explain that. But sometimes when you think somebody is maybe judgmental or annoyed with you or whatever, it's your own insecurities being projected. but it somehow elicits that energy from them. It doesn't necessarily mean that they may not be that way with anybody else, and they're only that way with you. But you really don't have that much pull over another person. I don't know how to explain it. He's retired, so he shouldn't be tired. Oh, wait, hang on. Stressed. But people can be stressed even if they're retired. So it can be stress from not, maybe from being on a fixed income. Stress doesn't have to come just from because you're going to work and somebody's whole lording things over you. I feel like there is stress there. No, you have not been skipped. Just relax. I am going to go ahead and end all new questions now because I just see that it's already after 9 o'clock, even though we had those problems. Just otherwise I get too tired at the end of the night. And sometimes my 2-year-old is not cooperating with bedtime. And so I have to put her down after this, and that makes it very late for her. Yeah, no, you're still in there. You're still in there, Naira. Don't worry. Because it's just right there. I go through and I finish all of them once. I just don't want to add any new ones onto the list. I go through all of them, okay? Julie, does he complain about his stomach? I just need some answers because you're asking a big question. No, he doesn't, but you do. I think he doesn't complain because he doesn't take care of himself. Like he doesn't think, oh, I need to go to the doctor, or it stresses him out because he is having problems. You have headaches. Do you have a pain here? This is a really hard, I got to be honest with you. It's true. Okay. So because you can't really give me any information because you're saying he doesn't complain. I think he might be having issues, and because he doesn't complain, you're not going to know about them. So it makes it a little harder for me to do a reading like this. Because if you can't validate any of it, I don't know if I'm getting yours or if I'm getting his. I don't know what to tell you. Totally am. So just push him to go get a checkup, a physical. Did he work in an area where he would have been exposed to irritants, like lung irritants? Does he eat a lot of fried food? They literally showed me fried chicken. Yes. So, okay. Did he work in an area that had lung irritants? So I don't know. What are things that do that? Different painters have to deal with different caustic things. People who worked with, in construction who worked with, does any of that make sense? Oh, you had pneumonia when you were young. All right. I keep getting pulled here to this specific spot. So get him into the doctor and get him a physical and a checkup. Get those questions out and make him talk about it. It doesn't hurt, but it's important. And I feel like some of the stuff that he has is diet and he just passes it off. But there's something about this here. Just get him. I don't know why I'm pulled to that, but just get him to the doctor. It doesn't feel dangerous or whatever, but it's like, it's a feeling of, because you can't really tell me anything, I don't really know what to do with this. I don't know. Just nudge him to go in for a checkup is sort of the feeling I get. Okay, Urban Lady. Can your relationship with your sister be saved or improved? Not until she owns her choices, her mistakes, and her actions, right? So she does not take responsibility for a lot of her behaviors. And then when somebody calls her out on it, she sort of goes, oh, but me, but woe is me. That's like what I'm getting. I don't know if that makes any sense. Yeah. So she sort of has to own it, and it stinks. So not until she's ready to do that. And I don't see that happening for a little while. She will eventually, but not anytime soon. And she really needs to make that choice on her own. And it's okay for you to have those boundaries. The list is already closed, music for the vibe. It's already after 9 o'clock. So try and squeeze in before 9 o'clock to get your questions in. Okay. Hi, Corey. Okay. Mallory. Was that Tony on Thursday? This is weird. So I do feel like it was him, but I literally heard, shh, you're not supposed to tell anybody. It was a secret. It's like our little secret. So I don't know what that means, but that's what I got. That girl, Brixt. I always have a struggle with getting through that name. Do you see Steve and you dating in the future, or will someone else come along? Someone else is coming along. And then you'll be like, why was I ever worried about Steve? But there's a reason that someone's going to come along, but you also need to really, really make sure you, stop accepting less than. Stop. It's like sort of like picking someone who's not fully available, because fully opening yourself up would be really overwhelming. So it's like you have to sort of get to that point where you're like totally ready, and then the person comes in. Work on your solar plexus chakra. I'm sure you can find a YouTube video that's really good for, I don't know if Steve Noble has videos on here, but he's kind of nice. But work on videos for your solar plexus, for clearing your solar plexus and releasing that energy. EQ, do you see any new real estate customers for you? Yeah, but not until December. And even then in December, I feel like maybe one or two. And then January starts to open up with more. I feel like 3 in January. Rose, anything on your health? I think actually you have a little bit of yeast overgrowth, because I can smell that smell of I don't know, like when someone has not like girly yeast, whatever, but like that there's I don't know how to explain it, but it just feels like a yeast overgrowth thing. So like sometimes people get, sorry, athlete's foot and things like that when they have, depending on their diet, they're more prone to it. So it feels like sort of transition away from eating a lot of high sugar, high processed, a lot of bread and things like that, and focus on probiotics and whole foods to help sort of like rebalance your gut, and that should help you out. You'll probably feel miserable, they're saying, for the first like 2 to 3 days and week, and then up to 2 weeks, and then it'll sort of like, but like that first 2 to 3 days is really hard. Then a week, sort of, it gets a little bit better, but it's still hard. And after 2 weeks, it's sort of like you're gonna feel like even tired and exhausted and irritable. But I feel like that's like sort of what they're showing me. Oh, I answered your question. That girl, let me see. Where were you? Sorry, my contacts are like super dry. Oh, I said I didn't see you and Steve dating. Maybe can you rewind it just so I don't have to re-answer it? Just rewind somehow. But I did answer it. I put your name up here at 9:11, which would be about just under 30 minutes in. Because I think I started here at 8:40 or 8:45. Here, wait, I can tell you what time I started here and how many minutes in it should be about. 8:43 is when I started here, and you're at 9:11. So it's about 27, 28 minutes in, I think. Maybe more than that. Okay. So who was that last that I was with? Rose. Rose, does that make sense? Oh, you have a good for Thanksgiving too. Sorry, contacts. Lauren Davis, any messages for you? I'll just put Lauren D. I heard get the let out. So it feels like the only one holding you back from moving forward is yourself. And it's like that fear of wanting to pick the best decision. And really, they're saying this feels career-wise, so it doesn't feel like leaving a relationship or anything. It feels like you're not going to make a wrong decision, but you're not going to make any, like you're not going to be able to do anything unless you just move and take a step. I don't know if that makes any sense. Maurice, I'm not taking any new questions tonight. Come back next week and I will be back. And okay, good. But thank you. But make sure you subscribe and hit the bell, because when I do live things, it'll go on and let you know. Like I try to let you know at least minimum of 15 minutes before. Thank you. Okay, Jeanette. Oh, wait, I already answered yours. Okie dokie. Ken, I answered yours. Ellen, you're not late. Could you have a general message, please? Ellen R. this is weird. This sounds like a little poetry. I don't know. So it's almost like, it feels like Alice in Wonderlandy. So it was like, I could feel you asking the question, how do you know? How do you know which way is right? And they said, listen, and you'll know when the feeling is right. So I feel like you are clairaudient and empathic and or clairsentient, however you want to put it. And you have to just be open to listening. It's almost like you're not trusting your own intuition to know which way to go. You're second guessing yourself. Does that make any sense? Yes. You're welcome, that girl. That makes sense. So that's what it feels like. It's like they want you to tap into your own magic. I have these oracle cards. They're Colette Baron Reed oracle cards, and they're the animal spirit ones. And so for myself, what I do, because I'm really trying to work on being in that sweet spot of creating my next 20 years, because why not go big? And so I'm so used to being nervous about things and asking them constantly. So I'm trying to get into a new mode of not constantly asking them when things are going to happen and just trusting them. But for me, so for me, I'll just pull one card and I'll say, I'll do a thing and just say, what do you want me to know today? And there's a really cool one. It's like a white raven, and it's really beautiful. And it's talks about believing in the magic, that magic really exists. So trusting when you put something out there that it's going to come back to you, and not allowing doubt and old belief systems tell you that it's crazy or not possible or whatever. So I have some really amazing things I have planned. And if I tell them it's anybody, I'm sure they'd say, you're crazy. But I'm just trusting that they're going to happen anyway and not worry about all of that. In the form of dreams. Okay. So I think really paying attention to your dreams then and not doubting them. I do believe that it's going to come to you in the waking state as well, that it's not going to stay in just dreams. Sorry, my contacts keep drying out. I think it's because I have the heater on down here, and then it's just dry in general. Hello, winter-ish. Lauren asked about your relationship with Adrian. I want to make sure I didn't L&R's in general. Okay. So Lauren, another one. He is he's like a stereotypical Cancer. I'm a Cancer, so I'm just gonna say we can be a little moody. We can be a little emotional. So I cry for other people. I cry for me. We can be a little sensitive. There's nothing wrong with being sensitive, but I feel like I literally heard in being a Cancer, I think it's kind of funny because it goes dead in the water. So crabs are in the water. So I feel like it just doesn't, it feels like, I don't know, like he's kind of wrapped up in his own stuff. Does that make any sense? I know I read Lauren. She must have typed 2 questions. Don't correct me when I'm doing this because this is all about energy. So yeah. Okay. So that's sort of what I feel like for him. Some people get in here and type a million questions really quick. So make sure you like and subscribe. This is free, man. This doesn't cost you anything. Although I will tell you, you know how I always say, like, I trust that it'll come back to me. We went to dinner this weekend and they forgot one of our sides or whatever that we ordered. And the manager came over and we were cool. We were like, whatever about it. We didn't care. But he came over and he's like, I'm going to comp it for you. So like, I was all excited because in my head, I was thinking, see, comes back to you when you do good, when you give things, people give things to you. So I'm just saying, just like and subscribe. Okay. Ken, I gave you Ellen. I gave you. Okay. Sherry. I don't like these ones when someone says, how long does someone have? And I'll be honest why. Because so unless I know somebody has a like awful diagnosis and I know they're going to live longer, I don't usually say like, I'll say like they're going to live longer, you know, they have some time. Even when my grandmother was dying, my cousin asked me, well, how long does she have? And I was like, I don't know. Like, cause I don't really, it's not always about, sometimes they choose an exit and they're like, I want to go this time. And then something holds them back for a little bit. So honestly, I don't know. And I don't want to say, but I do think the message behind it for you should be then, you know, cherish the time that you have and don't be waiting for the end. Just appreciate the time that you have and tell him everything that you want to tell him. Because no matter what I do and what kind of a message somebody like me comes and passes along, it's not the same as doing it yourself and doing it in person. And have absolutely no regrets. That's what I will tell you. Okay, Sister's Keeper, what's going on with your career? They said it's stagnant for a reason. Consider it like a simmering, you know, when you put something in a Dutch oven, you know, those big kettles and you slow cook it. This is that time. So change in movement is coming. It doesn't feel like until March. So sort of just enjoy this and figure out, because they're downloading you with stuff you're getting, whether you realize it or not, you are getting growth and you're learning something from this moment. So just appreciate it. Naira, you are finally up, love. What was Edmund's reaction when he saw the message I sent him? Could you quickly take a look at what he generally thinks about me? Thanks in advance. You know, sometimes I think we expect like the other person to have like this like movie, like theater, Hollywood reactions to everything. And like most people, like most guys, when you send them messages, they're like, okay. Like, I think they take so much just at face value. Like, this is what it is. So that's like sort of the feeling. Like, I feel like he takes things very much at safe face value. And they were laughing. My guys were like, reset. So it wasn't like, oh my God. It was just like, okay. I don't think he's like, I just feel like his mind isn't really focused on a relationship right now. Like he doesn't feel like I'm relationship oriented right now. It feels like he wants to just like have fun and hang out with the guys and be a dude. And that's what I'm getting. Erica Christie, I'm not taking any new questions tonight. I usually do. When you put in questions for about the first half hour, and I sort of did another 15 minutes on the other thing, but my sound wasn't working. So by about 9 o'clock, I'm sort of like ending new questions just so I can catch up on everything and I'm not here forever. 2222 is, what is that one about? I'll just answer that because that's like helpful for anybody. Everybody sees like a lot of common numbers. So I get this from my numbers thing. I always look at the Doreen Virtue one, even though she's gone Christian. She still got that information from somewhere. So 22 is angels see the positive results of your prayers, and they want you to have patience and stay optimistic while the final details are being worked out in heaven. It's an urgent call to keep the faith. That's for 22. And if it's repeated, then it would be times 4. It would sort of be that amplified is kind of my interpretation of that. That's what I'm going to go with for you. Let me see. Yeah, trust that everything is working out exactly as it's supposed to. That's that. Okay. All right, let me see who's after Naira. Okay. Blue Storm difficulty starting. If it doesn't, what was it? Okay, so if it, I'm trying to remember which is the alternator. I had a total lemon in college where even my mechanic said, "Will you just buy a new car?" That's really bad when your mechanic is like begging you to buy a new car. I think I put his kids through college when I was in college. It might just be a battery that you need. I don't feel like it's anything major. So just even just take it to one of those battery places and have them just test your battery for you and see if it's something that simple. Because batteries, you can get them for, a fairly decent price. You don't have to spend. And hey, maybe there's a Black Friday deal. But I feel like you'll make it through. Hi, Mariana. Will 2020 be a better year for you in love and money? So your energy feels a little heavy to me and a little like sort of like just a little bit depressed. And I feel like a lot of it is just your outlook on it. Changing your perspective. So I do feel like it's going to be better. It does feel like it's going to take a little bit to get there. Sorry, itchy eyes. So like April feels significant to me. A significant month for you. But it feels like really work on your perspective of things. So trying to see the positive of something versus the negative. So instead of like, I'm trying to think of something like, I'm trying to teach my kids the law of attraction now. And like my one daughter always says like, so it's just a matter of words. So my little almost 7-year-old will say, I always forget. And I said, no. I remember easily. Like, shift it, because even if it's not happening right now, it will happen. It'll change the way your brain kind of does it. So it's like believing that it will happen. Money will flow to me easily. Love will flow to me easily. So I feel like it will, but I feel like maybe what happens then, you get that huge shift in April, and or you start doing it now and it starts to manifest itself in April. But that's sort of what I'm feeling. I hope that is helpful and makes any sense at all. Phantom Punk. Oh, I think we talked about this. Here's the other thing is sometimes what we think about people is our own projection of what our, like we get nervous and we're sort of insecure in how it worked on our own stuff. So we're like, oh, you worry that it's like someone else is being really terrible, and maybe they're not. Maybe they're just like a kind of cut and dry type person. But you can't make somebody be something that they're not. I don't know. You can elicit stuff from them, but you can't necessarily make them be that person. Okay. Danny Lane, are you still here? There's an older woman who would have passed in her 80s. I don't know if this is for you, Danny. No, Danny Lane. I see where you got it. Like sometimes I notice when I watch these back, like I almost swallow my words a little bit. Sorry. It's probably also where I have the mic. Let me move it and see if, because I turn my head this way. I don't know, whenever I do readings, I turn my head to the left. Sort of what feels comfortable, I guess. You're here, yeah. I have an older woman here in her 80s, and oh, he's listening. So, does this make sense for you? Does this make sense for him then? If you want to answer, Shannon, whatever. That's so cute. You're on together. I love it. My husband doesn't watch these. Sorry, he would leave the room. Like if I have any kind of psychic shows on, he leaves the room. Not really. There's this older woman here, so it could be a grandmother figure, and she died in her 80s. She might have had like a little bit of a hunch over, because I feel like I'm kind of like, it's not that I feel like I'm heavy. And then also she's showing me very, very short, but it's like weird because I don't feel like she's standing. So maybe she's in a wheelchair. She insists it's for you. Did you count your grandmother's fingers? Because she's doing this and she's counting her fingers. No, there isn't a man right now. I'm just, she's insisting. So if you want somebody specifically, I always tell somebody that it's usually best to try and do a private reading for that one. Because then like all of your family comes through. I don't know how to explain it. There's always a lot, but, if you just ask, like, is someone here? This is what I'm being shown. That's who's here. So maybe it doesn't fit for you. Maybe it's for somebody else, but I'm seeing a female figure and she's counting her fingers. Both of my grandmothers are still here. It could be a great grandmother. So I'm seeing a female figure who passed in her 80s, short hair. She would have had used like almost like finger curlers. Like she had little curls. Um, and I definitely feel like either an Alzheimer's or dementia, form of dementia towards the end, because I feel like not being able to communicate and like almost like yelling. Can be a great grandmother. I actually feel like she might have been musical because I can, like, I'm doing this with my hands, but it reminds me of counting and keeping time and keeping the beat. So maybe she was a piano teacher or a music teacher of some sort. Does that make sense? Granny Smith? Would she have had Alzheimer's at the end too? I feel like when she was of sound mind, she actually had a very funny sense of humor, kind of like, because it's sort of like that, I'm haunting you, or I'm still here, a metronome. Yeah. But I feel like she actually did it with her. She didn't use a metronome. She was actually snapping her fingers. What do you mean, not that you know of? If she had a good sense of humor or if she was a music teacher? It's possible you were young. See if you can get some validation. I feel like there's questions around her passing, or if something was done enough or enough, the right care was given to her or whatever. And it feels like for the time it was fine. So, Naira, I answered your question already. So you'll have to go back, find, right. So Naira, just go back and find your name. That's always the best way to do it. You can just watch the playback. So Danny, you don't, if she was a music teacher. So see if you can get some validation on that. It just feels like whatever the question was around, if enough care was given to her, or if there's guilt around maybe not getting the best care at the end, or if you had done something differently, and this might be for your grandmother, that her daughter, that does that make sense that it would be your grandmother's mother? Or okay, I hate to move on, but I feel like there is something significant about this woman being here. So if you can just, maybe it's even just for mostly too, for you to get the answers to realize that like this isn't garbage. I don't know. It's your mom's, your grandmother's. Okay. I feel like she needs your grandmother needs a little bit of that reassurance. I think there's a little bit of guilt that she holds, and maybe she didn't do enough. I feel like because she's a caregiver, and very much wants to, like, a helper person, a fixer person, and maybe feels like it wasn't enough or whatever. And I feel like she needs to know that it was for the time. Like, fine. Like, I feel like maybe they are better in Alzheimer's care facilities or whatever now, and like have better facilities and thought processes towards them. But that's sort of where I'm kind of going. I don't know if I'm making sense. And sometimes too, when the person that you want to come through doesn't come through, and it's this great grandmother that you don't know, just trust that for whatever reason, they know what message needs to come through and who needs to best fill it. Because like I did a reading private reading, the one with the nephew, and it was such a lovely reading. And she said, but why didn't this person come through? And it's because the spirits will step aside and know what message needs to come through at that moment for that reason. And it's like there's this mutual respect of like, okay, we understand that, you know, they want to hear from you, but like it's really important that grandma hears this because she needs to not live with this guilt anymore. Sort of that thing. Mimi, no new questions tonight, love. Did I answer everybody's now? Is that it already? No, Mariana, I did. Love Babe, Jennifer Campbell, Shannon Lane, Danny Lane. Is that it? Did we do it? All right. I think that's it for tonight. You know, the funny thing is like when Juliet said something about self-protection, I just want to add this in because I think it's important for the few of you that are still here. I don't ever believe that I'm not protected. I am 100% protected all of the time. I have no doubt about it. And so nothing freaky ever happens, right? So sometimes like some negative energies might come up, but I also believe that I'm powerful enough to, like, this is my space and you don't get a say in my space. So just remember that, like, it truly is law of attraction in every area of your life and spiritually speaking too. If you put out that fear-based energy, you will get energy that feeds off of that fear. So just trust that. Like I used to say when I was first like getting into doing readings professionally and getting really comfortable with it, I'd say like I'd worry about being wrong, or I'd worry about, because I don't want to let anybody down. I believe that this gift carries a lot of responsibility and it deserves a lot of respect. And so I also know that people are sort of looking for comfort. Like nobody comes to me when they feel good and everything's perfect. So I take a lot of responsibility and I take it very seriously. And I was very nervous all the time. So I stopped worrying about if I could trust myself. I just trusted my guides. Like I've always been able to trust my guides. I've always been able to trust God that everything is happening perfectly. So if you just, it's not about protecting yourself or like, I got to keep everybody away from me or that person's bad or whatever. Just be like, whatever. It's water rolling off a duck's back. Like, don't worry about somebody. Nobody has power over you. You sort of allow stuff to happen, but nobody has power over you. So I will leave you with that. If you are in the United States, happiest Thanksgiving to you. If you are otherwise, enjoy your week. Have a lovely week. I hope everybody is doing well. Sending you many blessings and lots of love. I will for sure see you Sunday. I'm trying to get myself together to do other new and fun things, and I still want to do the meditations. So enjoy your week. See you next Sunday. Join me. Like this, subscribe it if you're still here, and hit the little bell so that you get notified when I go live. Thank you again. Have a wonderful night.